What's up? What's up? Welcome back, everybody, to Special Mom, Special Kids Summit, a summit that is to support and connect the parents and caregivers of individuals with special needs. And today, we are meeting Kelly March. And Kelly has brought out a book, and she has a son that has had an amazing journey with his hearing. And Kelly, share about what you do, how you serve, all that good stuff.
All right. So first, I am Kelly March. Hi. I am a wife. I am a mother of a 3-year-old. A little bit about me. I am in therapy. So I've been in the counseling field for over 13 years now. Um, Currently, I work full time as a program director in an outpatient facility, and I also have a part time private practice in counseling and coaching. So I do a lot. I do a lot. On top of that, I also am in ministry at my church. I'm an ordained deaconess. So, on top of all that, and taking care of home, yes, sometimes I just gotta breathe. Yes.
Usa.
Woosah.
So tell us a bit about your baby and his journey.
My little one, his name is Justin the second. He is 3 going on 4. And he had hearing loss, and he currently has a speech and language delay, an expressive speech and language delay. It's been quite a journey for over a year and a half now. We noticed when he was 15 months and we took him to his 15-month pediatrician appointment that he wasn't meeting his speech milestone. So he wasn't, babbling as much or saying like ma, dad, some of the syllables, the simple syllables that they were looking for. And by 18 months, he wasn't progressing. So they said, okay, well, maybe, he just needs a little bit of help with his speech, not knowing that, he had the hearing loss. So we put him in early intervention speech therapy. So he started off with a special instructor who came out once a week, and she worked with him on just sign language and other ways to express what he wanted. And it was good for a little bit, but we really didn't see a lot of gains there. So we were like, something else is going on. We're back and forth with the pediatrician. And the next thing you know, out of the blue, he was getting back to back ear infections. It was crazy. It was like one week he had an ear infection, and these are like double ear infections. So he's like in pain. And one week he's, struggling with the ear infection. They give him the antibiotics. He's good for a few days, back in the doctor's office again with another ear infection. And it was like back to back to back for months. And we're like, whoa, something is not right here. So, long story short, we were referred to an ENT, a pediatric ENT, and they found that he had partial hearing loss. So for him, he really wasn't hearing anything at all, which contributed to his speech delay. And it's actually a very common issue that he had. His ear canals weren't shaped correctly. So all of that buildup and drainage was just stuck. It had nowhere to go. So it was a simple surgery. He needed ear tubes. And after that, he, started to gain his hearing, and we noticed a difference in his speech. But because of the delay and us finding out about the hearing loss, he was still behind in his speech therapy. So fast forward to today. Um, he is still in speech therapy, but he's made so much progress. I mean, to the point where on Valentine's Day, we called my sister-in-law, and he read her Valentine's Day card, and like the tears that came from everybody's eyes. And it was just like, my
Yay!
baby is talking and he's reading. It was just so heartwarming. So that's where we are. I mean, we're still in the thick of it. We're still dealing with the ENTs and the speech therapy and other appointments that he has because he also struggles with like night terrors, and we see a pulmonologist for that. So It's a lot, but he's a fighter. That's my little superhero.
But a lot of parents don't, we feel you on that. We feel you on you go to doctor after doctor and they're like, oh, it's just this. Oh, it's just that. And you're like, well, no, this is happening. Oh, it's just ear infections. Oh, and you're like, well, wait a minute, like this is happening, and how you have to often continue to go back because moms, specifically Black moms, because I've had similar experiences, are dismissed when it comes to things that are going on with our kids. And they tend to want to just give them more antibiotics. Let's not find out why we keep having ear infections. Let's just keep treating the ear infection and then send you on your way. So that actually is a good segue into what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about keeping it all together. If you did not hear, Kelly has a boatload of different responsibilities beyond the care of her child, beyond the care of Justin. And how do you create a way to not completely lose your mind while still being able to be an advocate for your son? What were some of the things that you were able to do in navigating the appointments, not only for him, but then, the appointments for your own clients, and being able to interweave all? And then, like me, you're married. So how in the heck do you find the energy to even navigate marriage? Like, what are some of the things that you did that you would say, if these were the last things I had to tell anybody on earth, what would those be?
I would say yes, I have lost my mind a few times, but I got it back. Um, but I would say it starts with a little bit of self-reflection, because I would never ask for help. I thought that I could do it all on my own. I'm mom, I'm super
That's
mom,
what
I
moms are
got
supposed to
this.
do. We're supposed to have it.
Yes, I'm like, I got this. I don't need you. I'm all right. Boom. But I lost my mind. And it started with some self reflection of me asking myself, can you accept that you really need help? Like, you have to ask for help. And then you also have to know what it is that you need. What kind of help do you need? Because you can't just call people and say, hey, I need you. They're gonna be like, well, baby, what you need? You gotta know what it is. Who do you need? What do you need from them? How do you need them to help? When do you need them to help, and where do you need them to help? So just really asking yourself those questions, very simple questions. And then from there, organize, ask for help, and then just delegate the responsibilities, because you can't do it all on your own.
So just to follow up to that, like you might have a mom going, well, how do I even find the time to sit down and get clear about what it is that I want to do? Because I remember being in that space. It's like people say, what do you need? I need everything. I need everything. But you're right. That's not a good enough answer, especially when it came to my husband. He didn't know how he could step in because I was like, I got it. And then I would get mad at him for not helping, but then he didn't know what he was supposed to help with. He was really
Yeah.
at a loss on how to support me. So what are a simple thing, like, let's break it down a little bit more for them. What is something that they can specifically do if they're like, well, it's just too much to think about all the things I need to do and what I need help with? What is, like, how can they do that?
So I would say, yeah, you have to look at all the things that you're doing. So look at your day. Take today, Tuesday. What did I do today from the time I woke up to the time that I went to bed? I went to work. I had to, drop my son off at daycare. I had to come home. I had to cook. I had to grocery shop, or, I had to see a client. List all the things that you do in a day. And then you pick some of those things where you say, okay, I don't have enough time to do this, or I'm really struggling to do this. Those are the things that you start with. Like, hey, can you run to Target and, pick up, my to-go order or something like that? Or, hey, can you go pick up my son from daycare, because you are on the emergency contact list. So can you go pick him up for me so that I can free up some time to go do A, B, C, and D? But just really taking a look at some of those specific things and just saying, okay, I need some help with this specific task today. And, start looking branching out from your day. Then look at your week. What are some other things that you do throughout the week? Those weekly things on your to-do list. Hey, can you help me out, with, I don't know, just the things that
Anything.
you have. You really got to be specific about it. Just look at the things that you're doing and just pick them off your list.
And so if you're really listening to her, so take the emotion out of it, because I know during this time I was really high emotion too. So we're going to extract the emotion. And she's not saying do all these things at once, because back then I would have heard like, she wants me to do all this stuff at once. It's not all at once. It's one day. And there's a couple of different ways you can do it. If you have a device, you can kind of put a notepad on the different things that you did during the day, or you can wait to the end of the night when maybe you have a little bit more breath and sit down and just kind of write out everything that you did. Not everything that you want to do, but write out. And that's the first step. Just one day, the first step is taking a day. And then what I know for sure is that when you start with a day, you begin to find more space to now look at your week. And then you begin to find more, and it doesn't happen overnight. Parents, don't look for this. This is not an overnight thing. This is you taking consistent.
It's a process.
It's a process, consistent baby steps. And if you need to work with someone, be it a therapist or a mentor, to help you stay on track, because with our life and the way our life is set up, it's very easy to get off track, especially if you have a child. It could be anything. It could be social, emotional. It could be speech issues. It could be medical issues. It's really easy to get distracted, because it always feels like with them, there is a fire that pops up that we need to put out. And so just one step, if you get nothing else from this, just the one step of, okay, what did I do today? How much of this stuff can I delegate out because it's not mine? Or can I delegate out because it is mine, but I need help from my team? And how can I engage my family? A lot of the times our families want to help us, but they don't know how. We don't give them a way in because we're afraid to let things go. And so oftentimes your family is more willing to help you than you believe. And once you tell them exactly what to do, a lot of the times they're all in. All they needed was instructions.
Yep. All you got to do is ask. But it starts with, accepting that you need help. It really goes back to that, because we really have to understand that we're not in this alone. We have a village for a reason. So you really got to use them. What really helps me, and it took a while for me to get to this place of organization, but what helps me is two things. I have to put things in my calendar multiple times in order for me to remember, because I will forget. You could tell me something at 6 o'clock, and by 6:08, I done forgot what you asked me to do. And you be like, Kelly, I thought I asked you to do so-and-so. It just went away. I forgot, because I got so many things on my mind. Sometimes I get overwhelmed. So what really helps me is two things. On my phone, because we all have these beautiful mobile devices. Yes. So I use my calendar, and what I do is I sync it with my husband's calendar. So that way, every time we both put something in there, we know what we are doing. So I know his free time, my free time, and we can kind of schedule around that. So if I know that, I have a few sessions this night, I can, put them in, and he knows that he needs to be free so that he can have our son that night, or vice versa. If he has, something to do for ministry, or he's working late, he's putting it in the calendar. So I know, okay, I can't schedule something on this evening because I have to have our son. So that really works for us. Secondly, I always use, I'm old school. I have a paper calendar, a monthly planner. I have a 16-month calendar, and I have the thick one. So it breaks it down by month, by week, and every section has goals. It has lists for you to put every week if you need to run errands, a shopping list. Everything goes in there. When I say I put everything in there, from my personal life to my business life to my work life, everything goes in my planner so that I can see what I'm doing. And that way I can say no sometimes, because that's also important. You have to learn how to say no. We can't do everything. And a lot of times as moms, we feel as though we can just take on the world. We can take care of our kids. We can take care of our husbands.
A
We can
little
take care of
bit here,
ourselves
a
and do
little
everything.
bit there, a little bit. Oh, it's just 30 minutes. Oh, it's just this. And it turns into a whole 3-hour debacle. And you're tied up and you're like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, like, where did my day go? What happened?
Yeah.
And then you're at a loss.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes you really have to say no, and you also got to be realistic with yourself. You can't put everything in your schedule on a Tuesday. You got to space it out. Like, it's only 24 hours in a day. You can only do so much. You really got to be realistic with yourself. We can't do everything, and sometimes we do have to say no.
Exactly. And there's 24 hours in the day, but you know, if you sleep in, 6 of them, that's even less time. And then if you work a 9 to 5, or if you see clients or stuff, then you subtract time there. And you have to, you have to be able to see what your time is doing so that you know how you want to give your energy. Because I think too, we end up giving, along those same lines, we end up giving our energy to things that don't even serve the purpose that we said we wanted to hit for the day. And then we end the day and we're beating ourselves like, oh my God, I can't stay focused. Oh my God, this is so horrible. When in reality, you can stay focused, but you keep picking up little bitty things here and there and just plugging them in and plugging them in. And it messes with your entire, just your whole thing. It throws it off.
It really does. And again, like you said earlier, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you just have to put in practice and build on it. You just start with a few things on one day, and then you just build from there. And then next thing you know, a few months later, you're going to feel less overwhelmed and a lot more accomplished.
Yeah. You have to be willing to, and I know a lot of the times it feels like, oh my God, I need to get out of this pain now, but you have to remember that this has been a steady buildup, that the overwhelm or stress that you're feeling has been a steady buildup, and creating systems that are going to support you and your family. It's going to take time, especially when you've been running things for a particular way for any length of time. I say 6 months or more, it's now a habit in your household. It doesn't have to be a 10-year habit. 6 months or more, if you've been doing something consistently, whether it's felt good or not, it's now a habit that you now have to take 12 months to untangle, because it's going to take that type of momentum to untangle. And the reason why I say 12 months, and Kelly, you can probably attest to this, is because that old habit is going to keep seeping back in, of where you're doing everything yourself, of where you're not letting anybody in. And then you go, oh yeah, wait a minute, I'm getting help. So then you have to get the momentum again of where you asking help, or where you're including your family or delegating. So it just takes that time to rebuild. So something that took 6 months to make will probably take double the time to clean up.
Yep. That is the number one rule. You really have to work at it. And like you said, the time that it takes for you to build that habit, times that by 2, and that's the time that it takes to break that habit and form a new one.
Yep. This was so awesome, Kelly. These are some great bite-sized tips. Again, if you got nothing else from this, what I think we both want you to get is to start somewhere and start small. Don't go into this going, I'm gonna clean everything up. It's like going on a diet, right? You go, I'm throwing out all the chips. And then by Wednesday, you like, man, I could really go for a bag of Doritos and a Pepsi. And then, it just kind of trickles down from there. Like you go into this self-deprivation. We don't want you to go into this self-deprivation mode where you're trying to clean everything up at once, because that's just going to add more stress. It's going to add more overwhelm. And you're going to be like, that's not working what they're talking about. I'm stressed out. Bite-sized chunks make the biggest difference. Think of it like your child's IEP. They don't say they're going to talk completely by the end of the year. The first step is 3 out of 5 times they will say the letter R correctly. They will be able to pronounce it without support. And then they move up. So think of your own life almost like your child's IEP, where it's these little steps. And then a couple of years, you're like, oh my God, there's so much growth. Just like that.
Yep, it's baby steps to this. You got your long-term goals, and then you got your little short-term goals in there. Baby steps.
Exactly. Kelly, where can they find you out in these internet streets?
Oh, you can find me a few places. So if you're looking for my book that I wrote, it's called Here and Now, HEAR, Here and Now. And you can find us on our website at www.booksbyjm2, and that's the number 2.com. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at booksbyjm2 as well. And if you're looking for my private practice, you can find me on Facebook at Healing Pieces Mental Wellness.
And all of those links will be underneath this video. Everything about Kelly will be under there, as well as in your email. There will be her bio and be all of her information inside of that. Be sure if you have any questions to reach out. This is the perfect format for that. You know, this is definitely about connection and not just about you kind of sitting back and going, oh, I think I want to ask a question, but I'm not sure. That's why we're here, is we're here to help you feel like you are being, how apropos that you are being seen and heard. Look at that. And that you're not just being left in dangling in the wind, waiting for somebody to support you. This is the perfect space for that. So Kelly, yes. I want to thank you so much. Be sure to grab her book. Definitely, no matter, I don't think, but no matter what your child is going through, being able to have a story that you can connect to sometimes allows us to not feel as alone and like we're struggling all on our own. So be sure to reach out if you need to see her for any reason, whether it's the book or she is a therapist. Did I say the right title? Yes. And that is so important as a parent of a child with special needs. It's that mental health piece for you. Girl, we could go on a whole different piece about mental health. But I believe that every parent that has a child with special needs should at some point have a therapist, because there is some PTSD involved, no matter how your child was diagnosed. There is some trauma involved in that, because we all expected things to go one way, and that's not how they went. And so having someone to talk to kind of walk you through those steps and deal with all of the feels that you get with this is pivotal to you being able to show up fully for yourself and for your child. So Kelly, I want to thank you again. This was juicy and delicious. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Comments underneath the video.
You are welcome.
Be sure to connect with Kelly on any of her social media channels, and we will see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining in today for the Special Mom, Special Kids Summit, and take care. Love yourself first, love your family, and then everything will guide yourself and family, and then everything else follows behind, and you'll be able to pick up steam. All right, everybody. Bye.